Obama's in the news again. Joy. I'm Chris with RBA News. Thank you for tuning in. Let's jump right in. With the post-millennial, Barack Obama accuses Trump admin of new and dangerous level of cancel culture over Jimmy Kimmel cancellation. If you guys haven't been connected or aren't in the news, you probably still heard about it because everyone's whining about it. Jimmy Kimmel's fired, or not fired actually. His show is just suspended. So he might even come back. We don't know at this point. We don't know. So everyone's freaking out. They're saying it's an attack on free speech, and I kind of want to get into this article, go over the different points that are made here, and let's try to debunk some of the lies. And yeah, let's just jump right in. So again, post millennial. Barack Obama accuses Trump admin of new and dangerous level of cancel culture over Jimmy Kimmel's cancellation. Obama did not speak up either when Trump was banned from social media platforms as a sitting president, and that did happen in 2021. Former President Barack Obama is worried about comedian Jimmy Kimmel. Kimmel's show was indefinitely suspended, not canceled, suspended by Disney's ABC network after affiliate stations decline to continue to air him from following rude comments he made about the recent assassination of Charlie Kirk. Obama blamed Trump. Now, if you haven't seen the clip of Kimmel, I can definitely pull that up, but I'm sure you've seen it. It's everywhere, and I'm sure they go over his comments here in this article, which we can definitely touch on. But the claims that he made were that the shooter, I'm not going to say the shooter's name, but the shooter, he was saying was a conservative. Was he was one of you guys. MAGA was trying to lie, except for all the evidence. And the reason why he is even arrested is because he's a radical leftist. From the etchings on his bullets, which notice bulge ooh woo. That's like a Gen Z speak related to trannies and furries. Catch fascist. Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, Bella Ciao, which is a anti-fascist song from World War II Italy. After years of complaining about cancel culture, Obama said, the current administration has taken it to a new and dangerous level by routinely threatening regulatory action against media companies unless they muzzle or fire reporters and commentators it doesn't like. Excuse me, but the FCC has been a thing for a very long time, and you're not allowed to go on national networks and just lie. You're not allowed to do that. And then we'll get into this article. When they say, hey, you should apologize, you refuse? Okay, so then you truly believe it. And don't be surprised if the network goes, okay, we're going to cancel you because you're alienating half of America. Anyway, Obama did not speak up when his White House successor, Joe Biden administration, run roughshod over social media companies by reaching out to execs at Twitter and Facebook to tell them to flag and remove so-called misinformation and disinformation on COVID, elections, race, the first family, and other matters. This is true. Did you not live through 2021 and 2020? Did you not? People were being canceled left and right. People were being fired all over the place just because they voted for Trump. That did happen. The Twitter files. Thank God Elon Musk bought Twitter. We finally got to see the evil crap that the government was doing, and we'll touch on that, by the way, related to the Smith-Mundt Act and Obama and communism, if you weren't fucking surprised. Sorry for cussing. And then this is the same quote that we just read from Obama. From Obama. From the deporter in chief. Left don't remember those things, apparently. Roseanne Barr replied that Michelle Obama had called the president of ABC in 2018 to get her kicked off the show that she created, starred in, and was named for her after she made comments about a former Obama staffer on social media. Kimmel was on board with ABC for pulling Roseanne off her show. And we have a clip here we're going to watch. But it's true. It's absolutely true. She responded on Twitter to an Obama staffer. She was making comments about a Obama staffer who happened to be black. And I wasn't in the situation. I can't tell if she was telling the truth, but she said, I had no idea he was African American. I had no idea he was black. Yet she was still ruthlessly shut down and canceled everywhere for it. That happened, and Jimmy Kimmel celebrated. Just like he did when Tucker Carlson was canceled. Just like he did when Gina Carano was canceled. Just like he did when he said anyone who wasn't vaxxed should die and shouldn't be taken care of at a hospital. He did say that. Let's watch.
Roseanne, you're not going to believe this, but she tweeted something outrageous. I know, yeah, right. The president did it too. It's crazy. Anyway, ABC decided to cancel their highest-rated show, Roseanne, following a tweet in which Roseanne compared an African-American woman, a former advisor to President Obama, to an ape, which did not sit well with ABC management or anyone with a brain, really. So they announced that this first season of the show is also its last, which is a huge blow to business. I mean, we don't have much on this network. We're hoping the NBA Finals goes 11 games this year. We're still airing America's Funniest Home Videos, okay? Roseanne was a very bigly hit for ABC, and we needed it. But I say, why just listen, hear me out. Just because Roseanne is gone doesn't mean the whole show has to go. The show must go on. That's what we say in show business.
So the show must go on. The show must go on, Kimmel. I guess your show isn't really going to go on, though. But look at no outcry, no my First Amendment, no my speech rights. So Roseanne isn't allowed to say what she wants, but you are, even if it's horrible shit. I don't care if she actually was meaning something racist. She can be racist. You don't have to associate with her. I wouldn't associate with her if she was being racist. Racism's wrong. We've known that since the 60s, since before the 60s. We've known that forever. We didn't do anything about it till the 60s. And I grew up in the 90s. Racism was dead in the 90s. It wasn't brought back to the 2010s, bro. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't racists. There will always be racists. People will hate other people for any difference. Any difference. Difference of opinion, difference of skin color, difference of eye color in some places. It just happens. And that can come from anything. You know, we have so many different mechanics in our brain, like pattern recognition and fear of things we don't understand or things that are different. So all of these things combined create that hatred of something different. But as humans, we have a higher level of intelligence to go, hey, that's wrong. We shouldn't do that. We should all be treated equal. We are all created in the image of God. Obama appears to have more sympathy for a late-night talk show host than a man who was brutally murdered in front of his family, friends, and the world just 1 week ago. Now, what I will say, in the interview with Obama, he does give his condolences and his condolences to the family, which is a lot more than a lot of other people did. But then he starts to equivocate and say that he was saying hateful things. The two quotes that Obama even made were misquoted and completely out of context. Obama said that Kirk was saying black women don't have brain power, which is patently false. He was critiquing Ketanji Brown Jackson, saying Joe Biden hired her because she was a black woman. And he said that because Joe Biden said, I want to hire a black woman, before Ketanji Brown Jackson was even considered. He didn't look for who was the best for the role. If she happened to be a black woman, great. Awesome. Cool. He was like, no, we're going to look for somebody who has this skin color and this gender. That's it. No other qualifiers. other than the fact that they have to be in the legal system, like a lawyer or a judge or something like that. ABC canceled the show after affiliate stations across the country refused to air it. President Donald Trump has taken aim at media companies, and I don't know if it's actually fully canceled. I will have to double check on that. I heard it was just suspended. If it was fully canceled, maybe there's a little bit more that I didn't hear. But if it was canceled, then it was canceled. I do have some of Disney's response, and it does seem like they were trying to work with him and say, hey, just apologize for what you said, and we'll be square. And he refused, and in fact doubled down. So we'll get into that. President Donald Trump has taken aim at media companies for specific reasons, and he's won in court. CBS fraudulently edited an interview with the vice president and President hopeful Kamala Harris, which made her appear to have better answers on the Israel-Hamas war than her first answer would suggest, which I do have a clip here. Let's bring that up. It's from Megyn Kelly, and now let's watch it, and then I will talk to you why this is wrong and why this should be called out.
So it turns out now we know the full sit down with with Kamala was just over 50 minutes. And what they ultimately aired was a cut down version that was about 20 minutes in length. Now, that is typical for 60 Minutes. They don't normally air their full interviews, and they don't typically release the raw videos anywhere. But having said that, they've done it before. They released the full transcript, I think, or video of J.D. Vance. Catherine Herridge was pointing that out. They've done it before. So once it became a controversy, why wouldn't they have done it, right? The preview clip hit Face the Nation. It didn't match the version we saw the next night on 60. And watch, you can see that discrepancy in this clip here.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
Well, Bill, the work that we have done has resulted in a number of movements in that region by Israel that were very much prompted by or a result of many things, including our advocacy for what needs to happen in the region.
But it seems that Prime Minister Netanyahu is not listening.
We're not going to stop pursuing what is necessary for the United States to be clear about where we stand on the need for this war to end.
The media companies need to start standing up rather than capitulating to it. You mean the FCC? You're saying they need to defy the FCC? Outrageous. Outrageous. This is precisely the kind of government coercion that the First Amendment was designed to prevent. We just went over it. No, it wasn't. It was to stop Congress from making laws to curtail people's speech, which they've actually done. So that was the First Amendment being ruined. Or any of the things that the Biden administration did for his 4 years. This is precisely the kind of government coercion that the First Amendment was designed to prevent. We just went over it. No, it wasn't. It's to stop Congress from curtailing speech, which they have done. Kind of weird that no one talked about that. Or at least didn't talk about it that much. And media companies need to start standing up rather than capitulating to it. So he's saying, hey, you media companies, defy the FCC. He was a former president in control of the FCC. But when his team isn't in the office, then it's wrong. Interesting. Funny how that happens. The Washington Post cited 2 of her Blue Sky posts in firing her from her position as a full-time columnist with the outlet. Yes, we went over her comments in a previous video, and we'll go over them again right here. She was espousing racist bullshit and more lies. You can't do that. The Washington Post cited 2 of her Blue Sky posts, which we did go over in a previous video. We'll go over again here, in firing her from her position as a full-time columnist with the outlet. Both of them were made in the wake of the assassination of Kirk and were about him, which, we're about to go into them. Extremely racist comments. Okay. Refusing to tear my clothes and smear ashes on my face in performative mourning for a white man that espouses violence is not the same as violence, she said. When? When once ever did he espouse violence? No, because she's a communist. And to communists, words are violent because they use words and manipulation of language to get their way. So that's why they say that. Words are violence. So he espoused violence because he didn't agree with her opinion. Charlie Kirk is not some right-wing extremist. He's the middle of the road Christian conservative. He's just a Christian conservative, so he believes in Christian values. They hate Christians. A second read, part of what keeps America so violent is the insistence that people perform care, empty goodness, and absolution for white men who espouse hatred and violence. Bullshit. Bullshit. When? I'm sorry, we didn't burn down cities because he was killed by a leftist. We held candlelight vigils and prayers. Sorry, bullshit. Racist. That's why you were fired, because you're a despicable person. And you can't be put into a position of authority, a position of reporting the news to the American people as if it's real when you're a liar. Sorry, gets me heated when people are actively lying and saying they're not and then calling you a liar. It's bullshit. We're done with it. No more. The Post said later, the Post said in their letter to Atiya, your postings, quote, your postings on Blue Sky, which clearly identifies you as a Post columnist. So, hey, our reputation's being besmirched by your racist comments. Please stop. About white men in response to the killing of Charlie Kirk do not comply with our policy. Yes, absolutely. The only appropriate thing to say was, hey, I didn't agree with him, but he shouldn't have died. I give my condolences to his wife and kids. I really hope that they can get through this tough time. That's the only acceptable thing to say. I'm sorry. I don't care if you didn't like him or didn't agree with him. He's dead now. He's dead. He was killed for speaking. If you want to talk about an attack on First Amendment, again, it's Congress, so this doesn't really align. A man was shot in the throat for speaking and for asking for debate. And maybe we can find common ground and fix our country, but communists don't want that. No.
No, the violent revolution must happen.
That's the communists. They want to foment revolution. The revolution's ongoing. The revolution never stops. It's a revolving door. It's bullshit. It's an ideology that was made up by a lazy son of a bitch. Karl Marx is a piece of shit. Period. He was just an awful man. He was a horrible human being. And the fact that so many people want to be like him really speaks to the laziness in our younger generations. Bullshit. The Post said in their letter to, I read that. For Atiya, however, these comments were part of a broader collection of comments that the paper likely wanted to distance itself from. Yeah, no shit. You say awful shit, your employer's going to be like, hey, you're clearly labeled as one of our columns. We can't have that. Tone it down. And then they go, oh, no, I'm not going to tone it down. Guess what? You get fired. Sorry. She downplayed Islamic terrorism in France, claiming that jihadists were merely
Deeply disturbed individuals, lone wolves.
and lied when claimed they had no ties to international terrorist networks. Bullshit. The Muslim Brotherhood, the Houthis, Hamas, ISIS. How many times do they find a jihadist who's killed somebody, done something horrible, rioted, they then get arrested for whatever reason, sometimes let free? UK, weird. Why are you doing that? Do they not remember the Islamic attacks in France in 2015? How many people did that kill? How many? It's bullshit. They're lying. Because communists will use Islamists. And Islamists will use communists. They use each other. They hate each other. But they will use each other. She claimed the termination was because of her race. I was the last remaining black full-time columnist at the Post, in one of the nation's most diverse regions. Washington, D.C. no longer has a paper that reflects the people it serves. What happened to me is part of the broader purge of black voices from academia, business, government, and media. A historical pattern as dangerous as it is shameful and tragic. Bullshit. Bullshit. You were fired because you said awful shit and wouldn't apologize. Not because you were black. Period. And if the Washington Post now is reporting news that doesn't have lies in it, it's, I don't know. I feel like no lies is better than lies, in my opinion. So maybe stop lying. Atia did not provide examples of those alleged purges. Exactly. They will just say things, stupid people will believe it, and then that's it. It's stupid. It's just stupid people being stupid. Back and forth. Okay? But Disney's response, Disney representative Kimmel searched for a way to diffuse Kirk anger before program pulled. Interesting. He searched for a way, but was still pulled. So he didn't apologize? Oh, he didn't want to apologize. Got it. And so this is the actual quote from Jimmy Kimmel here. So we hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize the kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. It's so funny that they just happen to always, not sometimes, always, every time, tell you what they're doing by accusing the other side of doing it. This is specifically the left trying to say this guy isn't on their side. That's literally what he just said. We hit some new lows over the weekend. The MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize the kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them. That's what you were trying to do, Kimmel, on national television with 100,000 people watching in the key demo, 18 to 49. He gets like 100, or he gets like 1.5 million viewers, which is garbage. For a late night show. And he only has like 128,000 in the key demo. Insane. I think we have his, he lost 72% among the key demo. You don't do that and your show keeps going. If you do that, your show gets canceled. Let's see here. Jimmy Kimmel Live has seen its ratings drop significantly over the past decade, as the program averaged 2.4 million viewers in 2015, which is, that's decent. That's not terrible. It's not the worst. And has been trending downward ever since. Kimmel's program averaged 2.2 million in 2016 and 17, fell to 2.1 million in 2018, dropped to 1.9 million in 2019, and sunk to 1.8 million in 2020. By 2021, Jimmy Kimmel Live managed only 1.5 nightly viewers. I bet that's dropped even more since then. Or I guess stayed around the same. That's still awful. Kimmel's 2025 viewership of 1.6 million, hey, it went up by 0.1. Good for him. Is down 37% compared to 2015 totals. That doesn't happen and your show continues. If that happens, you get looked at, and the people that pay your paychecks go, maybe whatever you're doing isn't working. Have you tried changing something? Oh, you refuse to change something, and you're saying that your free speech is being trampled. Okay, whatever. We're just going to pull your show, man, because you can't be a normal human being for 5 seconds. I swear these late night shows are just dying because all they are now are Trump hate machines. They're not funny for most Americans because you turn on the show. What's Jimmy Kimmel have to say? Oh, he's talking about Trump again. What does Colbert have to? He's talking about Trump again. Oh, what does Fallon? Oh, Trump. Trump, Trump, Trump. Their identity is based off of Trump. However, the decline is even more significant among the advertiser coveted demographic of adults 25 to 54. It's around 18 to 49, 25 to 54. It's close enough. That's the money demo. That's the people who can spend money. That's the people who have money that you want to advertise to. From 2015, it plummeted to 261,000. I've even read reports that it's now down to like 112,000. You don't keep a show at those numbers, bro. Sorry. And look, he hated Trump so much back then, didn't he? No, none of them did. They hated him because he won. And then the evil communist rise up monster that's in our nation, that's in our political system, that rise up that's been happening over the past decade. Trust me, I used to be a socialist. I was brainwashed from school. I was brainwashed in my college. I dated a liberal woman. Mistake. I used to be a socialist. I called Trump a Nazi. I don't even know why I did it. I did it because everyone else said he was. But look, it didn't seem so angry and hate Trump then. He said the same things then that he's saying now. Disgusting. Just disgusting. And let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that for a second. Obama, whose father abandoned him when he was a child, whose mother abandoned him when he was a child, leaving him with her parents in Hawaii. Now, his parents put him into boarding schools. How much do you want to bet he was radicalized there before he even got to college? Which Obama, when he finally did go into university, he met Frank Marshall Davis. If you don't know anything about Frank Marshall Davis, he was a poet. They'll say he was a poet. But he was also a member of the Communist Party. He was also in a revolutionary group, a terrorist revolutionary communist group. And he was Obama's mentor. You guys ever hear of Bill Ayers, the Weather Underground, terrorists from the 70s? William Charles Ayers is an American retired professor and former community organizer. You'll hear this term a lot. Obama was a community organizer. That's what communists do. You hear community organizer, probably a commie. In 1969, Ayers co-founded the far-left militant organization, the Weather Underground, a revolutionary group. Again, communists, revolutionaries, they are evil. They will always incite bloody revolutions for their communist utopia, which will never happen. Communist has been used in many countries and have failed over and over again. Yet we think it's somehow magically going to continue to work when it never, ever does. So here, this is Bill Ayers, evil communist revolutionary. sought to overthrow the United States government, which they viewed as American imperialism. During the 1960s and 1970s, the Weather Underground conducted a campaign of bombing public buildings in opposition to U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War. I'm all for. I am all for saying, hey, we shouldn't be in Vietnam. We shouldn't be doing these things. We shouldn't have these wars that aren't wars. We shouldn't be having all these conflicts and wars all over the world. We haven't actually had an official war since World War II. Congress is supposed to make declarations of war. But we forgot that, I guess. The left likes to pick and choose what documents our founding fathers made that we should support. It's disgusting, it's disingenuous, it's lying, and they're communists. The bombings caused no fatalities. No one died. Well, except for 3 members killed when one of their bombs went off accidentally. The FBI described the Weather Underground as a domestic terrorist group. So is Antifa. Antifa is no better. They are a radical communist revolutionary group of terrorists. Firebombing cities, murdering people, blackmail. They're the ones who were going after anyone who didn't agree with them on COVID. Because if you don't think like we think, you shouldn't say anything at all. You don't get a voice. Send them to the gulag. But why do I bring up Bill Ayers? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because he was a mentor of Obama as well, another radical communist. I could do a whole separate video on Obama if you would like me to. Please comment below. Let me know. And I feel like now is a great time to say thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this content, please like the video, share, comment, subscribe if you can. One of those things, look, guys, I don't do this for money. I don't do this for fame. I do this because I'm tired of lies, man. I'm tired of being lied to. You should be too. You should be tired of being lied to. We should all be tired of being lied to. It's bullshit. We can't speak our minds without being canceled and shut down. And now that the left is finally seeing some consequences, guess what? Swings and roundabouts, baby. You guys set the precedent. We're just in power now. So no, Jimmy Kimmel being fired for being an asshole and lying and then not apologizing for it, doubling down, is not an assault on your First Amendment rights, which again states Congress shall not make laws respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free speech. It's not what they're saying it is, because they're liars. So when Obama was starting to run for president in 2008, he then condemned Bill Ayers. He then condemned Ayers, his past, and stated that he did not have a close association with him, investigated by the New York Times and CNN. Like, they're going to tell you the truth. They're on his side. He served with this man from 1999 to 2002. You not think that they, I don't know, maybe had some conversations, maybe shared some ideas, maybe believed in a lot of the same things? Because, you know, just watching what Obama does or did in his term as president really kind of speaks to a communist revolution. So in 1948, we're going to go back to 1948 for a second to kind of prop that point up, right? The Smith-Mundt Act, I know I've talked about it before and I constantly talk about it. It's important that we talk about it again. Officially known as the U.S. Information and Educational Exchange Act of 1948. This was a Cold War era law that specified how the United States government could conduct public diplomacy. It famously prohibited government-produced content intended for foreign audiences from being disseminated within the United States based on fears of domestic propaganda. Basically, what that's saying is you can't propagandize the American people. They are off limits to you. You do not get to do that. Right? And then in 2013, Obama, again, communist, when he's in power, he says, no, I would really like to propagandize the American people. I would really like to lie to them and make them believe my lies. That's what he did with the Smith-Month Modernization Act, which was bullshit. Right here. This is a section that we're going to read from this article that is Apple Pie Propaganda. Again, Smith-Month Act, 1948. You're not allowed to propagandize the American people. You're not allowed to lie to them to sway their opinion. As argued in this note, the repeal of the domestic dissemination ban is both beneficial and detrimental. Okay, let's see what he says. On one hand, the repeal grants American citizens greater access to information about the federal government and bestows the federal government with greater flexibility to counter anti-American sentiment within the United States. Hey, good. I think that's a cool thing. I think we should maybe focus on the anti-American statements. There's a freaking lot of them nowadays, if you haven't noticed. People marching in New York, marching in Seattle, marching in any major city, really, supporting Hamas, an actual, real, bona fide, we all agree, terrorist group, saying death to America. I kind of liked it when our government said, hey, you can't do that kind of thing. When people in its own country start disparaging the country, you know you're on the wrong track, brother. You know you're on the wrong track, brother. However, the repeal changed too much too quickly. Despite broad support in the legal academy for a limited repeal, Congress stripped the Smith-Month Act of all meaningful restrictions on the domestic dissemination of government-produced programming, propaganda, imparting the State Department and the BBG with enormous power to anonymously disseminate their programming within the United States. And you know what developed and came about after this? After that was removed in 2013? USAID. Not USAID. It's not aid. It's the Department of International Development. It's the people who go to other countries, pay groups to overthrow their governments. It was a tool, a slush fund of the CIA, FBI, the left, Democrats. That's why they got so freaking pissed, squealing when Trump shut it down. Oh shit, all of our riot money's gone. You wonder why there's not been that many riots this year? You'd think after his election, just like his first term, just like Biden's term, before Biden's term in 2020, all of those riots, kind of crazy. All of those pallets of perfectly stacked bricks just randomly showing up in cities, crazy. Wonder where that came from. All those exactly the same signs that everyone's carrying, just like they are in the UK. And where do you think that money comes from? George Soros, the Free Society. He's funding these things in every Western nation, and they're all starting to feel the pain from it. He's also another radical. He was a Nazi, an actual Nazi. I think he's actually a communist now. He wants a one-world government to where him and people like him, the ultra-wealthy, get to control you and everything you do. You will eat the bugs. You will sleep in the pod. You will be happy. Shut up. You're lucky we let you live. That's what they say to you. That's what George Soros and his sons say to you. That's what Bill Gates says to you. Do what we say, we're better than you. How about no? How about no? And on the track of lies that we're chugging down, Obama, Mr. Obama. How about when you lied last year before the election that Trump's a white supremacist and he didn't condemn white supremacy, which he has done again and again and again and again. Many times he said white supremacy is evil and disgusting. Any supremacy is disgusting. No one's superior. We are all created equal in the eyes of God, in the image of God. But the left doesn't believe in God. They're atheists, largely. I'm sure there's Christians, I'm sure. Largely, communists it's an atheist movement. Why do you think China's atheist? They hate religion there. Every communist country, it's illegal to be in some sort of religion. You get rounded up, thrown in a gulag. Because there can't be anything higher than the state. There can't. If there is, then they don't have ultimate authority, and they want ultimate authority. But no, in 2014, or not 2014, 2024, Obama brought up the Charlotte hoax again, which has been debunked by Snopes and everyone that's credible. No, Trump did not call neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people, yet Obama said he did. After this came out. This came out in June of 2024. He said that late 2024. Let's see. False. Context. In a news conference after the rally protesting the planned removal of a Confederate statue, pause, I don't agree with doing that. You don't have to like the Confederates, but it is a part of our history. And if you start forgetting parts of your history or banishing them because they're not so nice and friendly, you forget them. And guess what happens when you forget history? You are doomed to repeat it. Trump did say there were very fine people on both sides, referring to the protesters and the counter-protesters. He said in the same statement he wasn't talking about neo-Nazis and white nationals, who he said should be condemned totally. So again, people, who's lying? Who's been lying to you for a decade? Who wants you to eat the bugs and be happy? Who wants you to shut your mouth? Well, it's not Trump. It's not Trump. Trump just says, hey, stop lying. Stop lying. Stop being assholes. Stop being communists. Which they can't. I mean, it's an ideology that's programmed to them from school. But they're lying to you. And these schools have become indoctrination camps for communists. Yuri Bezmenov said so. He called this in his interview. Leftists are useful idiots who serve only to destabilize society. Because once society is destabilized, they can come in and change everything. They hate the Constitution. They hate these amazing documents that protect our God-given rights because they want to abuse them. They want to take them and rip them. They want to ruin all of it. Here, don't take my word. Let's listen to him.
Long before communists occupied the city, there was extensive network of informers, local Vietnamese citizens, who knew absolutely everything about people who are instrumental in public opinion, including barbers and taxi drivers. Everyone who was sympathetic to the United States was executed. Same thing was done under the guidance of the Soviet embassy in Hanoi, and same thing I was doing in New Delhi. To my horror, I discovered that in the files where people were doomed to execution, there were names of pro-Soviet journalists with whom I was personally friendly.
Pro-Soviet?
Yes. They were idealistically minded leftists who made several visits to USSR, and yet the KGB decided that come revolution or drastic changes in political structure of India, they will have to go.
Why is that?
Because they know too much. Simply because, you see, the useful idiots, the leftists who are idealistically believing in the beauty of Soviet socialist or communist or whatever system, when they get disillusioned, they become the worst enemies. That's why my KGB instructors specifically made a point, never bother with leftists. Forget about these political prostitutes. Aim higher. This was my instruction. Try to get into large circulation, established conservative media. Rich, filthy rich movie makers, intellectuals, so-called academic circles. Cynical, egocentric people who can look into your eyes with angelic expression and tell you a lie. These are the most recruitable people, people who lack moral principles, who are either too greedy or too suffer from self-importance. They feel that they matter a lot. These are the people who KGB wanted very much to recruit.
But to eliminate the others, to execute the others, don't they serve some purpose? Wouldn't they be the ones they rely on?
They serve purpose only at the stage of destabilization of a nation. For example, your leftists in United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much.
Was he wrong? We're seeing it again. These professors, who are also getting paid by the CCP, which we found, some of them, not all of them, but some of them. Some of them are just crazy. Some of them are just leftists. Leftists are radicalized, crazy people who are wielded by communists to destabilize healthy societies. So then we need a new government. And they come, hey, we have this utopian idea where we all share in everything. We all control the means of production. Never turns out well. Never turns out well. Even China had to kind of become a little capitalist in order to succeed. They're communist capitalists. It's a weird mishmash over there. We don't like to talk about it because they're, killing people to harvest their organs. I don't know, all sorts of shit like that communists get away with because they other people. They go, you are not human. They dehumanize. But like he says, leftists are used to destabilize. And then guess what happens when that communist revolution happens and the government is established? They kill and imprison all of the radicals because they can't have another revolution. Communism is a constant revolution. That's why. But then once the communists are in power, they're like, hey, I don't want to be killed. I don't want a revolution, so we're going to stomp down. It's the worst parts of humanity. That's what communism is. It's being lazy, demanding other people's work, money, time, imprisoning people for political speech. And we're not going to stand for it here in America. We've learned from history. Not all of us. There's plenty of stupid 22-year-olds out there who believe dumb shit. We need to try to save them. And if we can't save them, they need to go to jail. If they're radicals and causing harm, if they're threatening people, throwing concrete milkshakes, that happened. Trying to kill people. They need to go away, and they need to go away for a long time. And we're not going to stand for it anymore. They still don't realize what happened last week. You didn't just kill Charlie Kirk. You didn't just kill a Christian conservative 31-year-old father of 2 little kids because he used his speech. You didn't just do that. You lit a fire in my heart and every heart of every conservative or even just regular American who doesn't want their country to be destroyed. You did that. We're behind Trump and this administration. We want our National Guard in the cities. I'd rather have my neighbors, which are the National Guard. The National Guard only serve like 2 weeks out of the year. Other than that, they have normal jobs. Those are our neighbors protecting our streets and federal buildings so that the cops can go out and catch the bad guys. The National Guard's not going door to door to, are you illegal? No, that's illegal to do that. probable cause, you know? We kind of built all of these things to have a better society. But no, the left will just lie. And then they will say the other side is doing exactly what they want to do, exactly what they're doing. Please don't take my word for it. Do your own research. This is just my take. I'm just a man. I'm just a simple dude. I used to be a leftist. I used to be a hardcore leftist radical in 2015, 2016. But I did my own research. That's why they don't want you to do your own research. They say the research is wrong and research lies. Don't talk to reporters. They're liars. Mic check. Mic check. These stupid protesters who just go along with it because they're dumb. Kids are stupid. I was stupid. Don't be stupid, people. This isn't an attack on free speech. This is a man who got fired from his job for saying awful shit. No one is above that. And the left, when they're in the institutions, they will use whatever power they gain and they will wield it against you as a weapon, as a blunt weapon to hit you over the head with, like a bike lock, which a lot of Antifa people do, by the way, if you didn't know that. Hell, I've been threatened before. I've never made a threat on anyone's life. That's psychotic behavior. Yet the left does it constantly. After Charlie Kirk was murdered, you saw all of the Democrats posting, not all of them, but a lot of them posting lists. Tim Pool should be next. Benny Johnson. They're just saying now. The mask is completely fallen off, people. They're radical communists, revolutionaries, and they want a bloody revolution. They even say it. They said the revolution will not be bloodless. They love what happened to Charlie Kirk. They want more of it. But now that they see the institution is working against them, they're like, hey, that's not what should be happening. We should be only moving forward toward our communist utopia, which will never happen because it demands the suffering and work of others. Communist is evil. Free market. You make a better item than mine, it sells more. That works. That's lifted more people out of poverty than communism ever did. Communism put 10 times more people into poverty than that. Communism has put 10 times the amount of people into extreme poverty than capitalism ever could. It's lies. It's bullshit. Is crony capitalism good? No. Are there problems? Yes. Is it perfect? No. But it's the best damn system we got. And instead of trying to rip that away and then force everyone to be communist, because there's no two ways about it. You can be a communist in a capitalist society. You can't be a capitalist in a communist society. Just like you can't be a Christian. You can't be a free Christian in an Islamic society, but you can celebrate Islam in a Christian society. Why is that? I will never trust a side that will kill you for not agreeing with them, period. And don't give me that bullshit about the church in history. That wasn't God. That wasn't our Bible. That was people. People did that. People are evil to their core. But as Christians, we know we need to rise above that evil. We need to be better despite the evil. People, communism is evil. It'll never be good. Everywhere in the world it's been tried, it's failed. And the left will say, well, it's never actually been tried. Are you stupid? Are you stupid or are you lying to me because you're communist and you want communism and you don't really give a shit? Because you think, oh, I'm going to be a painting all day and writing poetry. No, you're not. You're going to be in the mine. You're going to be making big rocks into small rocks and small rocks into smaller rocks. That's what happens under communism every freaking time it's done. The communists take everything for themselves and then they shit all over everybody else. And don't get me wrong, There are radicals on the right. There are actual fascists who, guess what, aren't the majority of the right. Most of the right just want to live a happy life, have kids, praise God freely in this country, in this amazing country of ours. Only place in the world like it. People go, oh, what about the UK? I'm sorry, the UK has arrested more people this year for social media posts than Russia. I'm sorry, that's not okay. You should be able to say whatever the fuck you want outside of calling for violence or defamation. But people, don't mistake me. This is a war for our country. The left is waging war on our country. They shoot up our schools with kids in it. They assassinate public speakers for the heinous crime of wanting to debate the other side to find middle ground. He was the moderate right, and they killed him for it. Do you not think they'll do the same to us? But don't be afraid, because we're winning. The mask is slipping because we're winning. They can't hide their intention anymore because we're winning, and they're freaking out about it. It wasn't supposed to go this way. Trump wasn't supposed to win again. If Trump didn't win, I bet you he'd be in prison right now. I bet you a lot of Republicans would be in prison right now. I bet a lot of normal Republican people would be in prison right now. Thank God that didn't happen. But no, Jimmy Kimmel, who is a hack, he hasn't been funny since the Man Show. He lost his job because he lied. And his lie was dangerous. And he said it to 1.6 million people. And when asked to apologize, he said no. He is a radical. He's been radicalized. So he was let go from his position. That is not an attack on free speech. That's just justice for an idiot. All right, I'm going to end it there. I could go on and on about communism being dumb and bad, because it is. It's killed more people than Hitler ever did. Mao and Stalin alone killed way more people than Hitler. But the left celebrate them because the left is evil. The left is immoral. The left doesn't care about right and wrong. There's no truth but power. If you have power, it doesn't matter. You get to say what the truth is. But I'll end it there. I hope you all have a great night. And to close out, I want to read a quote from the Bible, because I can in America. Not in the UK, I'm sure. Probably get arrested for it. Makes me sick, dude. Romans 12:19. Do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath, for it is written, it is mine to avenge. I will repay, says the Lord. Our Lord is a loving God. He is. He's not the hippy-dippy, lovey, Jesus that people say he is. No, he is the Lamb and the Lion. He is the general of the armies of heaven. And when he comes back next time, he's not going to be nice. So please, don't be afraid. Speak out when you see this stuff. Like I am. Again, I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for fame. I'm doing this because I'm tired of the left-wing voices lying again and again and again. And I'm done. And you should be too. Good night.